I know I wouldn't get into these topics, and this is the last fucking time. I even told myself no more social media except YouTube comments and social page comments, but no more debates. Yet I've got, I've just gotten into this interesting debate. That kind of started out of me trolling the shit out of this person for the Linkel type of SJW Linkel bullshit. Long story short, there is a female lookalike from Link character in the news Hyrule Warrior. Canonically, she was supposed to be his sister, but apparently development something happened, so things got changed. But there she is using double crossbows and different kind of moves. She's not Link; she's someone else. And of course, the social justice radicals weren't too happy because they wanted an exact female Link. So at that point, I just started trolling the shit out of them using the exact same logic. Basically, these people were trying to appropriate a Japanese character from a Japanese game developers which had Japanese culture in order to oppress them by putting that concept in an American form because they wanted something similar to Femme Shepherd. Femme Shepherd, American concept. And the trolling went on really far, and I had to stop it because there is a person I indirectly impacted, and then had a conversation with that person to tell them that I was trolling. This specific person, the person I knew from a long time ago, she left the internet for a while because she was concentrating on her art. She is a very inspirational person, and because of her association with certain people on Facebook, I thought she was an SJW, but she wasn't, and she didn't get the whole trolling aspect. So I explained to her the whole thing, and we kind of got eye to eye at that point because she understand that to a certain degree, nobody wants to be oppressed on their artwork for whatever fucking reason. Art is free. So that was a very interesting thing. That got me pondering on one specific question, plus another one which I want to expand upon. But the first thing, and maybe I should do a separate video, but is just how this radical SJW mentality has brought society, in a sense, okay, in a sense, into this aspect of how do I say that? I was able to express it in French because we communicate in French, but in English, how do you say, you get this odd feeling whenever you encounter people like this morning. And even though I couldn't give much more of a fuck about the whole SJW thing, this morning I was just walking around, going to places, going to meetups, and every time I would cross a person in the street, I would feel kind of bad. Like if I meet a white person, I kind of feel bad looking at them because I don't know if they have or were bashed by these Black Lives Matter idiots who brought their shit way too far. So at that point, I don't want to give them the look because I don't want to look aggressive towards them. Like, I don't want to make them feel bad if they feel bad about looking at me. And the same goes for a woman. I encounter multiple women. Some of them will keep the gaze and just do the nod, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But sometimes I don't even want to look at them because I don't know if they're going to react the way the typical college or university students in those crazy ass universities are going to act. So it was kind of difficult, and just realizing that, I'm like, holy shit, man, these fuckers have just made the environment be this toxic thing. And of course, this is why I'm using all those cuss words, because I hate the fact that everything's becoming like this weird parallel. And even though on the Oppression Olympic I got a couple of notch plus a trump card, I don't like making people feel bad for stupid shit. I don't want to go into this whole slavery, shut up, slavery. No, I would slap the shit out of a person that would say that to a friend of mine or anyone else on the campus. I feel fucking bad, and that's like reverse oppression. It's garbage. So that's why I'm using those cuss words. When it comes to the other debate, after the trolling, the person in question, we finally got into an IM and we started talking. And there's a couple of things I can spot on with this kind of SJW mentality, because we kind of went to the core of it. The core of it being part of it being relativity by definition. Sexist video game character. What makes them sexist? And instead of being relativity, either being point of view or intention, the person literally went for the definition. At that point, I said, well, okay, so at this point, you're going to take it like a religion because religion has definitive points, which, if taken literally, would cause a lot of chaos and send us back to the Stone Age. And at this point, I also mentioned the fact that, and also, if you start stretching the definition, just like stretching religious laws to encompass more things, then you give yourself more excuses or more reasoning to get offended. Now, at this point, we got, well, I kind of pushed the topic onto him where, and even then, you want to go with definitions and you want to keep it literally. Okay, let's take the example of taking a definition slash religious law literally. What's the end game aside that you are justifying either getting offended, either feeling bad, or either pushing on your point of view slash ideology slash law slash definition onto others? Those are the only end game, because in relativity, like if you look at it back from a point of relativity, it doesn't really matter, especially if you look at video games as in question. Okay, this whole diversity aspect, sexism aspect, and blah blah blah. If you if you bring it to the forefront and you get to the end game, what does it matter? Because in the subject of gaming, the product is made to have fun, for entertainment, for story value and gameplay. Let's say the sense of identity is not really part of the point. So when it comes to pushing on the sexism and blah blah blah, and then overstretching the definition, what's the point? Then he started saying, because of course it's a he. I'm not going to say male feminist, but then he started saying this whole topic about choices, and then the popular choices were exposed. And then I kind of just brought up the point, okay, so because you are not able to look for what you want, because this is basically what you want, I could have easily flipped that on the side of saying, I wanted a platform game. I'm going to have to look to the side, but if I did not look to the side and I only stuck to AAA games without looking on Steam, I would have never got Shovel Knight, I would have never got Guacamelee, and all those different kind of games. And there is a large amount of diversity when it comes to Steam Greenlight and in other indie productions, along with Kickstarter, some of which I financed. Thus, if I remain narrow-minded, okay, in an industry that I love or in a medium that I love, yeah, I don't really have any reason to yell out at the front of the narrow-minded perception that I have. Because if I just took the blindfolds away and looked at things that weren't exactly targeted for me, or other starting projects that were targeted for me, I would find my diversity content. Yet this person didn't want to realize that. This person tried to sidewind me with two aspects of, one, trying to reverse the whole thing onto me, saying that if you don't care for this, if you don't care for that, like just completely ignoring the aspect of relativity, but then trying to make it an individual type of thing. Again, targeting me directly, saying that, oh, just because you don't care about this, you don't feel like this, and blah, 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 everyone should submit. And it's like, never said that. I just said, broaden your horizons, and you will not get any reason to whine, because everything has already been set and laid down. And if you do not support the product that you want, it's not going to get made, or it's not going to go true. If you don't look for the product that you want, you will not find it. It's kind of interesting because on a certain aspect, we can jump into another interesting parentheses of what's happening if people stay focused on what's being marketed to them. That's a quite an interesting aspect because there are some people that will constantly accept the force feeding of media, just like the narratives that we see with Kotaku and Polygon. There are some people that will force accept that, and ironically, we can see an interesting correlation there because the person felt like he was being force fed this media by the big game publishers, or okay, by the big game publishers, yet just like that he's being force fed the same narrative of him being oppressed because of the big game publishers. While in reality, if you start looking elsewhere and looking, using your peripheral vision, you'll find plenty of products, and you will start seeing, of course, if you look elsewhere, like other countries as well, you will start seeing the relativity aspect of marketing. Target marketing is another point that we can another parentheses that we can open. Like, this discussion was quite interesting. It's just too bad that a person kind of tried to do a gotcha moment, and I kind of caught the person on a different double standard because this person was at the end was trying to push this thing that I'm a game designer. I'm trying to market to my audience. I'm trying to target or to market what my audience want. And at this point, I'm like, so wait a second. How does that work? Because you look at AAA games, a lot of people buy Call of Duty. I bought fucking Black Ops 3. I skipped the other ones because I liked it. So what people like is bad? Relativity issue there, or straight up double standard. And at the same time, again, the double standard of you shouldn't let people find what they want to like, or you shouldn't let people find what they like. It should come to them. And there's a very interesting feeling of entitlement on that, but we didn't go further into discussion because he tried to have this gotcha moment. Then he had to go because of a headache. I'm having a headache as well, but I'm still talking. Anyway, relatively at this point, he may have had the flu just now, so I can fully understand him. You remember my Call of Duty stream, right? I can't talk. So that was a very interesting discussion, and I kind of want to talk even further about him after having him admit to his double standard and his wannabe gotcha moment. But, I'm not going to be that much of an asshole just to fling on him. Yet, it was quite interesting to get into that mindset. And especially at first, he kind of probed me about what would offend me, what would not. And, I kind of went through a breakdown of my history, what happened with my parents. When I got out of high school, got a bit much more social, went into groups, learned about the world, got more into documentaries, just fed up my knowledge. And I told him that after feeding myself with knowledge, getting into other people's mindset and seeing other points of view, I can see the relativity when it comes to certain things. Like, he kind of probed me, you never found any black characters to be offensive. And I kind of told him, well, for one, I'm studying animation, so stereotypes and all that, I got to use it because it's part of character design, and it brings out a character. It's not a character, but it brings out a character. It's one of those key assets, along with mannerism, that could somewhat be branched into stereotypes, that will make a character. And depending on the context of the film, either being satirical or a parody, why should I be offended? There's a lot of blaxploitation movies made by black people. There's a lot of black parody movies made by black people, like Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Tyler Perry. I always forget his name. I called him Kyler. My bad. But yeah, and at this point, these artists are making those work to open up a dialogue. So why should I be offended? Hell, even The Color Purple doesn't offend me because I have enough knowledge to know that that's how it was at the time, at the era set in the movie. It's like getting offended at Schindler's List and saying, oh my fucking god, how racist is this movie? It's killing Jews. And it's like, historical. It's in the time. Now, where I would personally get offended, like a minor offense, okay, was let's say if it was a KKK movie, just to say, look at this piece of shit nigger, and then I don't even know how that would offend me. Maybe okay. Imagining, and right now I'm really reaching, okay, really reaching into like the utter nonsense, like going out of my way to look at something that's legitly offensive, would be a KKK member or anti-Semite or someone making a video, like taking historical footage of these people at the time, and then adding his own commentary of saying fucking nigger, blah blah blah, fucking Jew, and blah blah blah, and then splicing that video with just to add even more racism, him and his friend painted with blackface, like a shitty cam, okay? Oh, shitty cam would make it funny. 4K, okay? Something that looks somewhat professional, had budget into it, and was marketed for a lot of people, I guess. Even then, I wouldn't even know how. Because in that sense, I'd have to go out of my way to get offended. And even then, I would have the conscience of mind to know that the person making the movie made it to offend people. At this point, we can even bring it up as a subject of questioning for, okay, well, what's the purpose of this movie? Why was it, what is the connotation in there from the artist, aside from literally offending? If it's trash and just poop for the sake of poop, then I don't really have reason to get offended at poop. It's just trash. They're waste of budget. And I can kind of rejoice in racist motherfuckers losing a large amount of money to make their racist production that will barely be purchased by people who are legitimately racist but may not even know this shit exists unless they're in this circle or they're on the deep web. So that was a very interesting discussion, and hell, even going into the point where what would offend me, um, aside from that, far stretch, what kind of really offends me, and I told him, was people using ideologies, radicalizing them to oppress other people. He never responded. Double standards much? But aside from that, all that, it was quite interesting, and kind of gets to a point where I am going to possibly drop off Facebook, and I'm gonna unsubscribe to a news network. Except when I say news network, I'm talking about like the usual type of news or people pushing news, maybe except Monday and Matt, but I might only subscribe to discussions to a certain degree. Like I'll keep God's Side, I'll keep Monday and Matt, I'll keep what's his name, Sargon of the Akkad, and a couple of other people, but um, I want to push away. I want to push away from all the shit that's going on Facebook and on Twitter to focus on the drawing, because I'm clocking in all that time that's spent having these very interesting debates and necessary debates. I'm clogging up. Sorry. Let me take my fisherman friend. Uh, I'm taking a lot of time to go into these debates, and it's a bit too much time. Also, my health. It's coming back, guys. So, I'll see what goes. Okay? Of course, more time is going to be spent on the drawing and the upcoming animation. More stuff on Patreon as well. I guess that doesn't really affect you guys. But when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to political and ideological discussion, I know I've said it like 10 to 25 times in a row on this channel too. But I'm going to stop that shit. because I know that if I let it build up internally and I let it out like a Hadouken, or my variation, the ROM Buster, which I will put on Facebook on the ROM HQ page, and I'll see if I can put it else. The work that I will do and the kind of parodies I will do, or the little subject parodies I'll add to my current work, will do much more than simply me coming on camera, or me having a debate with a single person, or me trying to do a video to multiple people. And looking at history, looking at all that, I know it'll have much more impact for myself. Okay. Uh, Also because I'm not really that big on YouTube, so I'm just a voice in the wind. And when it comes to Facebook, you know how the feeds work, right? Unpopular opinions all the way at the bottom. So that's a waste of my fucking time. What I can do is start taking ideological pot shots, making references to such things in my comic, in my animation, thus putting a lot more time into them, thus giving me much more opportunities for commissions, because I need to live, people. I need to live. For commissions, putting much more quality into my work, or much more time to add quality, more quality into my work, and I've learned a lot in the last few months. It's been great. So that's it. Interesting debates. Who knows? If there's a follow up, I might make mention of it in a future video. But hey, back to the fun time, and let's consume. Let it build up. Let it rise, and then implant it into my work. Also, I also wanted to do the. Oh man, I can't do it with this voice. I had a great script for a totalitarian type of voice, dictator kind of character. Damn, fucking nose block. I had this good shit. But that's the kind of stuff I personally have to do to put that in my work. Other people with more media attention, or more of a wider range, they can, do the work, talk, have these video discussions, and it'll reach more people. Relativity. Relativity, people. Yet, I do want to hear more about these topics, man. I really do. Discussion is really what pushes your horizon. Debate and discussions. And if you allow yourself to have these, instead of just saying, no, 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 because of religion or ideology or whatever, then you don't learn. You don't grow as a person. And of course, you're going to be triggered all the fucking time. You haven't even gone out to the world. How do you expect to understand the world? Anyway, I'm out. I'll see if I can recover. More drawing stuff coming up soon, because it's going to be time to suit up and train. That's the title I'll have. Later, guys. Thanks again for the support and the great discussions, alright? See you soon. Oh man, I pressed the wrong key, did I? Maybe this is gonna work. Nope. Different profile, people. When you have profile, you gotta stop streaming. That was a problem.